Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Two Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about whether or not Ryu has been a good villain slash antagonist in the story, and if he's lived up to expectations since his debut in the story. Part of why I want to discuss this topic with you guys is due to some of the comments I've seen regarding the way that Ryu has been presented in the last two chapters, and I want to peel back the layers both in the form of inspiration as well as a craft perspective to explain why I think Ryu's character, for the purpose that he's been given in the narrative, is actually a good villain. Join me in today's newest Naruto Explain video, which is basically a in defense of Ryu video. And hopefully, if you're someone who doesn't like the character, hopefully this video will make you view the character a little bit differently. As a quick reminder, the chapter review for Two Blue Vortex is up on the channel, and the editor maintained the quality of the other Two Blue Vortex reviews. So check it out if you haven't already, and I'll leave the link in the description box below, as well as the end credits, so you can watch the review if you haven't seen it. I thank you for your understanding and patience on the delay. So Ryu, the new awakened Shinju in Boruto Two Blue Vortex, stands out as a compelling villain due to the multifaceted character, strategic brilliance, and the way that he elevates the stakes of the series itself in the form of pushing the narrative forward. Born from the chakra Shinki, Gar's adopted son, Ryu emerges as a sentient god tree under Jura's command, and he brings a fresh dynamic to the story. His quest to devour Gaara, combined with his own immediate dominance over Code and his high battle IQ that we see, it makes him a formidable antagonist who not only pushes the narrative forward, but also embodies traits that resonate with classic villainry that are inspired by Japanese folklore and Shinto tradition. So we're going to break down exactly why Ryu excels in his role as a villain and how his traits align with all these cultural influences. So why do I feel Ryu is a good villain? So it starts with the immediate power demonstration and the power scaling evolution that we've seen. Ryu's introduction is marked by his swift and effortless takedown of Code, the last major villain aboard to Naruto Next Generations. Code once was a significant threat as Car's final inner member, and is introduced into the story as finally having gotten his limbs removed, and he's now reduced to being a humble subordinate when Ryu uses his iron sand to yank him out of hiding, and Jura casually severs his arm and tells the guy, "You're gonna work for me now." Ryu's request to kill Code the next time, met with Jura's approval, signifies his superior strength. Jura would not have said, "Go, feel free to kill him if you want to," if he did not think that Ryu could kill Code. This moment is a crucial moment for battles shonen like Boruto, where power scaling is one of the things that drives the narrative, because battles push the story forward as much as the world building itself. By surpassing Code, a character who once overpowered Sasuke Uchiha, Ryu re-establishes himself as the next level threat, re-establishes the Shinju as a whole as a next level threat. It raises the stakes for Boruto, Kawaki, and their allies. This escalation keeps the audience engaged as it promises bigger and more intense conflicts moving ahead. It's a hallmark to what we see with shonen antagonists, though, due to Boruto's tendency to scale down fights in terms of destructive capacity. We're not going to see mountain ranges getting blown up and things of that nature. It's going to be more taijutsu based, but the power scales have moved up. Now, he also has a complex character depth, one that I think is criminally underrated. So Ryu isn't a one-dimensional force of destruction. He displays a range of emotions and behaviors that add layers to his villainry. His initial bloodlust scene when he nearly kills Code, it hints at a raw primal drive, yet this is tempered by his deference to Matsuri, showing respect for the hierarchy within the Shinju ranks themselves. This balance between savagery and discipline makes him unpredictable yet calculated, a dangerous combination. His ability to shift from aggression to strategic planning, as when he devises on the spot a scheme to expose the Konoha Sand betrayal, showcases a cunning intellect that sets him apart from villains that are mostly brute force. This complexity mirrors the best antagonists in shonen who challenge heroes but not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. He also has a high battle IQ and a tactical brilliance as shown in this chapter. Ryu's combat prowess shines in his confrontation with the Konoha and Sand Shinobi. His high battle IQ is evident with his multi-step plan to neutralize Area's sword, which could counter his attacks, while flooding the battlefield with claw grimes to overwhelm Sarada and Mitsuki and hide his intention. He used Yodo as bait. Everyone fell for his plan. Everyone was an unwilling participant in his plan. By continuously hiding moves within moves, he not only kept his opponents guessing and reacting, he forced them to react under pressure. This strategic depth not only makes his fights visually and narratively engaging, but also reinforces his threat level. A villain who can outthink as well as overpower the heroes like Pain, like Madara from Naruto. Again, not on the same level. Let me make that clear. Those characters have more depth than Ryu, but I'm making a comparison. It still elevates the stakes like they did, just not on the same level. And Ryu, he fits this mold perfectly. His ability to strengthen his position mid-battle demonstrates that he's not just a tool for Jura, but he is also a proactive force shaping the conflict. What makes him so deadly is the fact that he defers to Jura. That is why if you go check the videos a few months back, I said, hey, I think Ryu's got the potential to be the second deadliest out of all these shinju. And it's because I saw signs of what we're seeing now. He also is someone who has the emotional stakes and the legacy connection that he builds on. So Ryu's mission to devour Gaara, it ties him directly to Shinki's legacy, creating an emotional resonance that deepens his role. As a clone that's born from Shinki's chakra, his desire to consume Gaara, his father, in a twisted sense, it flips Shinki's loyalty and sacrifice into a dark and corrupted mirror. This personal vendetta adds a layer of tragedy and inevitability to his villainry, making him a foil to Boruto, who also grapples with legacy and identity. This is why it's so compelling, because even though Boruto and Shinki have never thrown hands with each other, they still are a contrast, much like how Shinki and Ryu are contrasts. You also have the threat to Gaara, a beloved Naruto character. It heightens the stakes for fans, ensuring Ryu's actions carry weight beyond mere destruction. A good villain doesn't just oppose the hero. They challenge the world that the hero itself protects. And Ryu does this by targeting key figures in that world like Gaara. Also, the fact that he is serving Jura while also seemingly carving out his own path is another thing. Each of these shinju are independent beings. Because I view him as being the second dangerous, Ryu also fulfills his role as a tool to the larger shinju vendetta because he's not a mindless pawn. He is shown more intelligent than the other shinju. His initiative in exposing the betrayal plan and his personal goal to devour Gaara, it suggests he's pursuing his own destiny while staying within Jura's framework. He is not allowed emotion to overtake him like Matsuri. This duality, serving a master while asserting an individuality, it makes him a very dynamic subordinate villain. And I'm going to make a comparison here that I think that if you're a Dragon Ball fan, you'll catch. And I bring Dragon Ball up because, as you guys know, Ikimoto is a huge Dragon Ball fan, and both Boruto manga have fingerprints that pay homages to what you saw in Dragon Ball's manga. So it's very similar to Zarbon and Vegeta under Frieza in Dragon Ball. Extremely similar. If you get it, you get it. So his respect from his peers like Matsuri and his leadership potential that we've seen is hinting at a future growth, assuming that he's not taken down, which I think he's a potential to be taken down because Shinki's obviously going to get rescued. But if he stays around, Ryu has a lot of potential, and it keeps his arc open-ended and it keeps it very intriguing. Then when you take it a step further and you get into the Japanese folklore and the Shinto inspirations, it gets super crazy. Ryu's character and his motives, they draw parallels to Japanese folklore and Shinto mythology, enriching his villainy with a cultural depth. The name Ryu, when you take the hyphen off, it means dragon, or when you keep the hyphen on, it means grain. It evokes an image of a dragon, a powerful, often destructive deity in Japanese lore. Dragons in Shinto and folklore, like the Ryujin, the sea god, are revered yet feared, embodying nature's dual aspects of creation and chaos itself. Ryu's bloodlust and strategic mind, it reflects this duality. He's a force of destruction. He wants to devour Gaara, yet he is also a calculated entity tied to the natural order of the shinju, which are born from the Ten Tails, a primal, godlike being in a way. That's the creation and the chaos aspect. The grain mention of his name is basically because of the Iron Sand itself. Then when you get into the yokai influence, it's also there as well. So Ryu's emergence from Shinki's chakra and his sentient nature, they resemble yokai, these supernatural beings who are born from human emotions like the shinju, or objects like Tsukugami. Ryu, a tool gaining sentience. Ryu is warped in evolution of Shinki's chakra, driven by his hunger instinct that is driven by his quest to consume Gaara. It's less about malice and more about fulfilling an innate existential need to define his own purposes, echoing Shinto beliefs and spirit seeking completion. Notice how Matsuri says that we need to merge together to Konohamaru. That's what that is. Again, in the Matsuri video that went up a couple days ago, I talked about how Matsuri is much like a vengeful spirit from a lot of no theater plays. It's the same thing here with Ryu. So the Shinto themes of purity and corruption are also there as well. In Shinto, purity is sacred and corruption is a perversion of natural harmony. Ryu is born from Shinki's noble sacrifice. It represents a corrupted legacy, twisting loyalty into predator nature. His targeting of Gaara, it symbolizes a ritualistical act to purify or complete his existence by consuming a origin, a dark twist on the Shinto purification rituals. This adds a philosophical layer to his villainy, making him more than a physical threat, but a manifestation of distorted family bonds that you see with Shinki and with Gaara. The dragon symbolism, again, if Ryu's name, if you take the dragon portion, it is basically him summoning claw grinds, and the battlefield is a parallel dominance of a dragon commanding lesser spirits or storms. That's why he had to summon the claw grinds. That's why when everyone said, hey, Ryu's name's Grain, I said, hey, pump the brakes a second. It also means dragon, and we see him behaving like dragons in Shinto stories. In folklores, dragons often test heroes, like we're seeing now. They bring chaos to reveal strength, which is what we saw. Whose strength we're going to see next? Is it Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan that is not debuted? Is it Kawaki swooping in with his limiters removed? That's what we're about to see. Someone is going to step up to the plate to slay the dragon or defeat the dragon. Ryu's challenge to these shinobi, it serves that role. It is pushing them to evolve while embodying an unstoppable mythic force, just like how the Shinju's whole nature is to evolve. In conclusion, Ryu, in my opinion, he excels as a villain because he combines raw power, intellectual depth, and emotional stakes, all while advancing the story's scale and tension. His immediate dominance over code resets the power scaling. His layered personality keeps him engaging, and his tactical brilliance ensures thrilling battles. His connection to Gaara and to Shinki adds a personal edge, while his role under Jura balances obedience with what we see is a growing ambition on his part. Drawing from Japanese folklore and Shinto, Ryu's dragon-like presence and corrupted origins make him a mythic elemental threat, a villain who feels both timeless and uniquely suited to Boruto Two Blue Vortex from that perspective. He's not just doing a good job, he's redefining what it means to be a good villain in this ever-changing, evolving ninja world itself. Obviously, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and checking out more videos that on Naruto Explained, like this chapter review, or checking out this video from my Anime Explained channel, where I talk about non-Naruto content in the form of video essays, lore videos, explained videos, chapter reviews, and so much more.